All right. Awesome. Now I'm going to actually start recording. Okay. So, yay. Here we are. So, welcome everybody here with us on Zoom and everybody watching on YouTube and everybody watching in the future. This is going to be what we originally were calling the closing ceremony for the Becoming Superconductors of Love Summit. And now Kaylin had the great suggestion to change that title just a little bit to, what do you want to call it now?
Completion ceremony.
Completion ceremony, yes. And I would add in maybe celebration ceremony.
Yes, completion and celebration. Oh,
there you go. Yeah, exactly. So Kaylin and I are here with Divine Harmony and Ari Moshe Wolf and all of you. And so we have been having this free summit for the past few weeks. For anybody who hasn't heard about the summit and wants to join, it's still entirely free and available indefinitely. You can go to livingtheonelight.com and click on free summit, and you can have access to the whole thing whenever you want, whenever you're seeing this. So we've enjoyed a bunch of really beautiful, amazing talks, and we have been present together during this eclipse season. And now, as of today, Neptune is in Aries for the first time in what,
50.
5 years.
Okay. Yes, long time. So yeah, so we're here to really contextualize this moment that we're now in at the end of this month, at the end of this eclipse season, at the end of this summit, and then we're here to also send us out into the next. So we're each going to contribute various things to that. And just really, really briefly as we begin, I'll just help us very, very briefly just drop in and come into this sacred space together again. So we can feel ourselves here. We can imagine, if it feels right, imagine ourselves again in this massive worldwide sacred circle. And we can feel ourselves here present as beings of Gaia, literally, and beings of the cosmos, literally, because Gaia is a being of the cosmos, and therefore we are too. And we can feel ourselves as beings of light, beings of source, beings of the divine, and beings of love. And feel ourselves again coming into that great sacred circle with us all holding Gaia together, connecting with each other. And I'll set the intention that I always set, which is that our time together serves only each of our absolute radical highest good and the highest good of the all that is. And so it is. Amen.
So it is.
So first I'm going to hand it to Ari, and I want to say, coincidentally or not coincidentally, today after this ceremony, Ari is actually holding a free class, which follows up perfectly from his talk in the summit. So, and he's about to also kind of share a little more that's very relevant to his talk in the summit. And I'll let Ari say more about your class that's coming up at noon Pacific today. And I sent out the link for that to everybody, but I'll put the link here in the chat too. So, all right, go for it.
Thanks, Martha. Hi, everyone. So Neptune's entering Aries right now. In the summit, my talk with Martha was really about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And if you haven't had an opportunity to watch it, definitely check it out. There are a lot of really essential insights offered there. Today is sort of the next important phase on this journey. We can't really talk about Neptune over the next year without really talking about Saturn Neptune, because they're together. And even though Neptune's going to stay a lot longer in Aries, The beginning of this journey is a Saturn Neptune phase. It's nothing else but that. So right now, Saturn's in just 2 months away from joining Neptune in Aries. So there's like a little bit of a 2 month window before they both kind of enter into Aries, and they're going to go back and forth until February of next year. There's so much to say. And so what I want to offer in this little short window is a prayerful intention and grounding for really embracing and opening to this energy in our life. As we may have heard, anything really moving between that Pisces Aries cusp, it's a powerful evolutionary transition. Of course, the zodiac is a spiral, but there's an initiatory quality here. And I want to start off by just giving some appreciation for how profound zero Aries is. It can't really be spoken enough how much anxiety exists in that point. The energy of newness, of initiation, is deeply pronounced. Just think about any new journey, any new experience, any new choice, any new bold, courageous decision. Once you make it, it opens up the doors to a whole bunch of experiences that you can't avoid. Every choice, every action, every decision in this life, if you really get to the heart of it, to like the knit and the grit of it, it means we're committing to an experience. We can always make new choices later, but we're committing to life. And that's what Aries is about. That's what Mars is about. And that's the deeper dimension of this archetype. We're here on this incarnational journey, and we're going to make choices. We're going to say no. We're going to say yes. We're going to not say no or yes. We're going to react. We're going to be defensive. We're going to pause and take our time to consider what's really going on and what's the clearest, most helpful action. Every single choice that we offer to our life experience opens the doors to consequence. And every choice thus creates karma. Every choice has an effect. And we can't avoid it as long as we're in this human experience. And that's scary. If we really look at it, it's scary because it says, I'm committing to a path that I'm going to have to walk. And the Aries energy is like a self-cleaning oven. It says you have to play out this journey to exhaust it, to go through it completely, and you can't avoid it. You can't bypass the curriculum of your own soul path. So there's a natural calling for soul leadership when you enter into the domain of Aries. And I was just thinking just before we opened, what came to me is the power is in your choosing. And I think especially on the spiritual path, we often get confused about these things. So it's always really important for me, because this is a teaching that I just find relevant for myself and practically anyone I ever work with. There's often confusion around the right application of our personal will. We don't want to hurt others. We don't want to fall into egoic patterns. We don't want to, even if we were hurt or others have acted us, oftentimes there's an internal orientation. We know deep within our own conscious says, don't become that which has been done to you. And yet then we get confused. What do I do? What do I do with the feelings that I have? What do I do with all of this energy? Is it okay? Is it appropriate? Am I going to be too much? Am I going to take up too much space? Am I going to impede on other people's journeys? And this is really the existential crisis between Pisces and Aries, right? In this transition from Pisces to Aries, we're in the surrender, in this openness, this trust of the journey. And of course, Pisces at the core is about co-creation. And so there's this innate learning within Pisces that we become an instrument. Yet when we move this to Aries, this co-creative process is a little bit more fiery. It says the power of God's will is in your will. The power of love is in your choosing. The power of the force that's greater than anything in the world is in your choice to step into your power. And the thing with Neptune in Aries, we can't know it unless we trust it. As per all things Neptune, we trust in the invisible more than the visible. Right? That's the principle of faith, that truth is here. And because it's not defined by a condition, because you can't say, the truth is in this towel alone. It's actually in this towel, but it's also in everything. And so it gets tricky. We have to completely surrender to the omniscience and eternally local, eternally non-local, ever-present reality of truth within and without. And we have to give ourselves to the knowing of it. And so with Neptune and Aries, the surrender is nothing's going to happen unless I happen. Nothing's going to shift. The miracles in the world won't come through. This inexpressible, incomprehensible divine potential for healing and unity will not express in the world unless I'm willing to step into the holy function that I'm here to perform. You can think of Neptune kind of as, in a larger sense, where there's like a divine plan, so to speak. It's a human way of thinking of it, but where the oneness is sort of in control. Everything is impelled to move back to itself. It's like love is kind of bringing all of itself back home. And so there's this journey of healing through relationship with all of us, where we forgive, where we recognize that we're all the same, where love is restored in all the little crevices of human experience. And yet we all have a role in that. And we allow ourselves to be in this co-creative place. Where we are and who we're with and what we're doing is exactly where higher meaning and purpose and all things become possible. And I was listening to this really beautiful talk from Marianne Williamson yesterday. And I love how she's not putting politics into this, but I'm going to say, I absolutely love the way she is blending politics with spirituality. And the message she shared feels just perfectly aligned with the timing, which it couldn't not be. She quotes A Course in Miracles, saying there's no order of difficulty in miracles. And she says, all the powers that be, the Donald Trump, the Elon Musk, all of the corruption that's currently manifesting in the world, all of the ways in which it seems there is deception and that powers are greater than us that might bring us into a sort of Neptunian Saturn despair. Because that Saturn dimension is, oh, the structures, the powers, the governments, the systems, that's heavy. And I'm so small. What can I do? And that sense of smallness can actually induce a sense of helplessness and defeatism. Either we give up, or it's also where people sort of flip into a more, I'll do anything because I'm so small and powerless, I'll do anything. And so we can kind of lose ground with the natural ethic, right? That all of these powers, as small as we might feel, and just make it simpler, the conditions of your life, where this Neptune is in your chart, the conditions of our life right now, wherever it feels we can't make any changes, it's the structural realities are so heavy and deep and pervading. They're controlling us. We can't push up against that wave. It's because there's a humility in recognizing that I alone cannot do any of this. Heck, I alone can't change myself. If I want to change something, it's like I can't. Change happens in our co-creative relationship. Something greater than us takes over. We evolve, we change, we collectively evolve, we change. Something greater than us acts through us and affects the world in ways that we alone couldn't make happen. We're all, and it doesn't matter what our political or religious social ideologies are, because Neptune doesn't really care whether you're a Trump supporter or not, whether you have a particular perspective or not. Of course, I have mine. It's always just going to look towards the truth, which is love. The truth isn't like an ideology. It's always just going to look towards the truth, which is we are one. And so it's going to use any space where there's openness for that to come in and take over. And so we can't judge. We might find ourselves coming together with people that are very different than ourselves and dissolving our judgment and our ethical standards and moralities and all those kinds of things. There's a little bit of a scratching noise. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Yeah. Once we become that instrument, all rules kind of fall away. All rights and wrongs, all shoulds and should nots, they just sort of dissolve. And the only thing that's left is the sense of I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And so it's in our choosing, it's in our stepping into. Now, how do we know what to choose? What's your inspiration? What makes you come alive? What will keep you up at night? What brings you energy, even if you haven't slept? There's an inexpressible amount of energy in Neptune and Aries only when we're tapped into something greater. Everything else is sandcastle of illusion. It's artificial, and it comes and it goes. So this prayer that I offer to all of us today in this transitional place, and by the way, just historically, very interestingly, I've been researching for this class that I'm going to do in a couple hours. When Neptune last entered Aries was April 12th, I think 1861 or 62. Literally, I'm sorry, April 13th. April 12th, the day before, like hours before Neptune entered Aries, was the day that the American Civil War began. Right. And that's the other element of it, right? It's like fighting for a holy cause, or there can be a lot of that. And I'll be speaking a lot to this later today, which I'll speak to in a moment. All of the different dimensions of this conjunction and some historical context and how to understand it in our own chart. So the prayer that I offer is that we are strong in our own choosing, that there's even like a little bit of an opening to have deeper confidence and trust in the holiness of our decision. We let something that is greater than us act and move through us as we decide to step into the vibrational being that we are meant to be. And of course, it's all about our vibrational being, which is what this whole summit in essence about. We are the instruments for love. And so I'll share a little song here now. Na 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 na. I am love. It is my right to live in joy, to give in joy. Said I am love. It is my right to live in joy, to give in joy. Da 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 nai nai, na na nai nai nai, na na nai nai nai, na na nai nai nai. You are love. It is your right to live in joy, to give in joy. You are love. It is your right to live in joy, to give in joy. Na na nai nai nai, na na nai nai nai, na na nai nai nai, na na nai nai nai. We are love. It is our right to live in joy, to give in joy. We are love. It is our right to live in joy, to give in joy. Die, 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 die. Nai, 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 nai. Nai, 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 nai. Nai, 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 nai. Na na nai na nai na nai na na nai 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 na na nai 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 na na nai nai nai. So join me if you'd like in a couple hours, 12 Pacific, for a deep dive into Saturn, Neptune, and Aries in your natal chart, offering an overview of the essence of these planets, a little history, that how to really work with the multidimensional quality, the facets of this conjunction, which are really coming together over the next year. If you want to enroll in that, that is it's registration required. So you can go to my website. We'll put that in the comments so you can just register directly through that. Thank you, everyone. Blessings.
Thank you, Ari. I put the link for Ari's gathering in the chat here, and also if you're live on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, I put it in the show notes on the YouTube as well.
Thank you.
What I wanted to say is this morning I woke up like right at the precise moment Neptune was entering Aries for whatever reason. Just went boom, straight wide awake. And what I'm personally feeling in my body that feels so relevant to what you're saying is the sense of I was not expecting this at all. I hadn't even dropped into what is that Neptune and Aries energy? What is that? But all of a sudden, what I'm personally feeling in my own body, probably following from the solar eclipse in Aries, and then now Neptune entering Aries, is this sense of like embodiment of love. Like love, Neptune and Pisces, maybe I'm suddenly getting it. Maybe it's can feel so diffuse, right? So etheric. And then as Neptune moves into Aries, maybe part of the opportunity is suddenly it can have form, or it can come into, do you kind of get what I'm trying to say? It's like
Yeah.
suddenly I'm feeling it much more
Embodied?
embodied and present. Yeah, it has a oomph to it. Like it's like, and it doesn't even take effort to know the truth, in a certain way.
Mm.
Um, Something you said to me years and years ago was, there is no choice, there is only the truth. And it's a similar kind of a feeling, like, okay, love has one truth and
Mm.
it's here. And suddenly with Neptune and Aries, I can feel it somehow more just present. So that's my response. Thank you, Ari. Harmony, you had some things you wanted to share that are relevant too,
Yes.
or hand it to Kaylin.
I wanted to just talk about the shift briefly from Neptune 30 Pisces to 0 Aries and the Sabian symbols. And then I was just going to read a paragraph from this book that I'm reading, and I'll tell you what the book is. So I'm not going to read the whole Sabian symbol. I'm just going to kind of because they're both quite long. But I am going to just give you the encapsulation. So we move from 30 Pisces, the last degree of the tropical zodiac. And so it's the omega point, the end of the end of the end, which we happen to have Mercury and Venus retrograde, both going back and forth over 3 times. And Neptune will do that as well. And Saturn will join. And we had the North Node crossing over it, but now the North Node is like officially in Pisces and going backwards. So 30 Pisces is, and these are the Dane Rudhyar interpretations, a majestic rock formation resembling a face is idealized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness, and as he grows up begins to look like it. So the keynote is the power of clearly visualized ideals to mold the life of the visualizer. And he says that the key word is archetypalization. The thing that stands out for me with this is that we've got a little boy and this thing that's his ideal, that at the end of the cycle, the end of the end of the end, he grows up to look like it. So at the completion of the cycle, we start off with this intention, and then we come into the form and the completion. So that's the last degree of Pisces. The first degree of Aries is a woman just risen from the sea. A seal is embracing her. And then it says here, keynote, emergence of new forms and of the potentiality of consciousness and the impulse to be. So for me, this evokes, first of all, Venus rising out of the ocean, And I recently, because I was doing studies on seals, which is ironic because when I was a kid, I would visit these seals at this kind of sea life place in San Francisco. It was like a seal rehabilitation center. And it was like, I kind of forgot about that. And then I remembered when I was studying seals. And of course, I think of like the Selkies, and I think of Sedna, who's the goddess of all the ocean life, and her fingers, as they got cut off, became the seals and the dolphins and the whales. But one thing I didn't realize, but then when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense, is that seals are often symbols of like protection. They're often used in myth as like these protective energies, shields. They're even seen as like creating shields to protect. And so for me, when I'm seeing this divine feminine woman rising from the sea and she's being protected by the seal that's embracing her, what it evokes for me is the divine feminine and the divine masculine and the original template energy of the two. The divine feminine is that rising of the divine consciousness in us, and our divine masculine is our protector. And, Aries Mars today, we're told, is the god of war and bloodlust and, just battle. But anciently, he was the sacred protector and defender of innocence and purity. He was the protector of the crops. He made sure that the crops, survived so that people could survive. And when I've done like studies on kind of ancient Aries, I've found, two stories that stood out to me. One of them is most myths do not have myths of him raping anyone, whereas all the other male gods do. And there is one version where there's, I forget who it is, but this temple virgin said that Ares raped her, and she ends up giving birth to, I think it's Romulus and Remulus, the two dudes from, yeah. But then there's thoughts that she just said that because she wasn't supposed to have sex. She was a Vestal virgin and she would have been stoned to death. So she kind of used him to protect herself. So anyhow, the point being, he never did this, thing to the feminine that all the other male gods were pretty much doing. And he's also the only male god that stood up to rape. His daughter was getting accosted. He got pissed off and he killed the guy. No other male gods would take a stand in that way. So he is the sacred protector and defender of innocence and purity and of the divine feminine. And the Cherokee have a saying about this. They have a prophecy where they say, the life purpose, or I forget the exact way, I didn't write it down because I wasn't planning on saying this, but I am now. So it's essentially says the purpose of a woman is to lead a man to his soul and unite him with source. And the purpose of a man is protect woman so that she can walk the earth unharmed. And this is not about gender, although it's obviously encapsulated in gendered words. It's about the inner feminine within us and the inner masculine within us. And our masculine is meant to protect and defend our feminine that is open to the divine and receiving and conceiving divinity. And so, this, to me, this first degree of Aries evokes that. It's like something new is being born. And when you were giving, Martha, you were talking about how you were feeling Neptune and Aries. What I was feeling when you were saying that is just love in action, love embodied, but full-blooded, like the kind of love that stands up and doesn't just passively just take whatever, but is like willing to take a stand. And I think I shared this on one of our panels, and I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time tracking like where I say things lately. It's been so like, woo. But I had a dream years ago, and I think I shared it here. Did I share the dream about the dog? Yeah. So that is Neptune and Aries. And for those of you who aren't there, I'm not going to say the whole dream. You can watch the thing again. But it essentially, like, this evil dog came to me in a dream, and I thought I had to kill it. And a higher voice told me I had to take the evil out of the dog without killing it. And I beamed love at it, and love transformed, and the evil dissolved. That is how we deal with the evil of today. We do not go and try and kill it, because killing it is just, eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So I just feel into what is coming forward. This is the solar gate of resurrection, the 0 degrees Aries in the northern hemisphere. Obviously in the southern you guys have fall, but something's resurrecting the full-blooded embodied heart, divine love in action is that potential. And as Ari said, taking us from now until the Saturn Neptune conjunction next year, I feel like we're getting immersed in that medicine. One last thing, and then I'll read my paragraph, is that we're in a hermit year. 2025 adds up to 9. So it's the hermit card, which is a very internal spiritual year. And it's a yin snake. And so that's also very spiritual. So for me, this year is all about preparation for that conjunction next February. And anything you do that honors that inward journey, the healing, the meditation, the retreat, the reflection, all of it is going to be the medicine that leads you, and guides you. So The paragraph I wanted to read is from this book by John Michael Greer called The Art and Practice of Geomancy, which is something I'm studying that I randomly happened upon. It's been very interesting. And it just speaks of the divinity of Earth, and it gives me chills when I read it, and first time made me cry, so I'm going to share it with you. Is not the Earth herself sunlight made manifest? Earth is the climax of spirit's descent into matter, the magical lowest low that contains not only a spark of the highest high, but everything else in between. Earth is the alchemical laboratory that transmutes light into life. Earth is the crowning finale of creation, and we are conscious creatures of the earth. As such, you and I possess, we embody the secret of spirit's return to Godhead.
Yay. All beautiful. Thank you, Harmony, so much. And that flows perfectly into what Kaylin is now going to talk about.
Yes, thank
Yay.
you. Oh, I just love what everybody said so much, and how we can come together and support each other in this time with this the different perspectives and ways of speaking into the same thing. I love it. So good, so good, so good. So so I'm going to speak into some more on the larger activation of this time. So we've been moving into a new astronomical, astrological age. Don't have time to talk about that further here, but it's definitely going on, and it's been something we've been aware of for a while. And what's happening now is just helping us to have the ability to more easily attune to the unified field of consciousness. And we're being assisted by this zero Aries point, Venus crossing it 3 times, Mercury crossing it 3 times, Neptune crossing it 3 times, Saturn crossing it 3 times. The alpha and the omega point, they're crossing those points 3 times. So it's the ending. I like how you said that, Harmony, ending of the ending of the ending. Right? So and so, as we could say, all the presentations that have been through the summit and that have just been brilliant and amazing and so powerful and so helpful. And hopefully people have been finding that support. And that we also have all the outer planets moving into new signs. It started with Pluto back in November 19th of 2024, then Neptune today, and moving into Aries, and then Saturn on May 24th, moving into Aries, and then Jupiter moving into Cancer on June 9th, and then Uranus on July 7th, moving into Gemini. Pluto, 248-year cycle, Neptune, 165-year cycle, Saturn, almost 30-year cycle, Jupiter, about 12 years, Uranus, 84. These don't happen often, and to have them all happening within just this short period of time, whoa. Plus, we have Chiron moving into Taurus on June 19th of 2026. So we don't want to forget Chiron, because Chiron's part of the amazing energy of this year, because Chiron and Eris are going to come together. The dwarf planet Eris are coming together 3 times this year. So that's also included in all of this energy happening in Aries, but not the 0 point. So we're also still in the effect of the equinox effect of how, because of the sun and how it's rising across the planet and activating the and lowering the magnetic field of the earth, creating more light energy coming in. We still have galactic center somewhat overhead as the sun is rising, and that's gonna, galactic center is overhead every day, but not always as the sun is rising, but that's still gonna last for a little while longer. And then we were just in this place of all of these things that we've been talking about since we opened the summit and in the equinox ceremony and now here. But there's something else going on that's even bigger. And I first came across this information it was before 2012, might have been 2010. I don't remember the exact year, from Nassim Haramein. He's a physicist who is known for working on the unification theory. And he talks about how our sun goes around the galaxy. It takes 225 million years. That's like the biggest context. And then our solar system comes into alignment with galactic center every 30 million years. And that's happening now. And what they were noticing, and this was stuff that's been talked about for a while. In fact, I think it was Dr. Violette who wrote Earth Under Fire, started talking about this in 1983, that there's these galactic waves of energy impacting not only the Earth but the entire solar system. So we're already experiencing that. It's going to continue to increase this happening. Back probably 20 years ago, I read this book called The Great Cross of Henday, Alchemy and the End of Time, with Jay Widener and Vincent Bridges. And they're talking about how there's this cross in the town square of Henday, France, and it has coded into it like the end of time, or how there's this possibility of a galactic superwave coming from the center of the galaxy. And when we're in alignment with that, which is what's happening now, our solar system is coming into alignment with that comes about every 12,000 years and impacts the Earth with that energy. And we're already getting that impact. Now, that book, The Great Cross of Henday, is based on the research and a lot of things that was talked about by Fulcanelli, who is an alchemist, more modern day alchemist. I think they don't know exactly when he passed, but it was probably after World War II. And he was able to do the alchemy of creating lead into gold twice. So he did it in 1922. He had witnesses. He did it again in 1937. He had witnesses. He had, in fact, the witnesses were a chemist, 2 physicists, and a geologist who watched him do this. So, I mean, I don't know how true this is or not, but apparently this happened. Anyway, and that at that event, Fulcanelli said, "The secret of alchemy is this: there's a way of manipulating matter and energy so as to produce what modern scientists call a field of force. The field acts on the observer and puts her, in a privileged position vis-a-vis the universe. From this position, she has access to the realities which are ordinarily hidden from us by time and space, matter and energy. This is what we call the great work. This is the ultimate purpose of alchemy." So this is just trying to give us a sense of what this thing that's happening, that we're already going through, is creating an opportunity for us to have a greater alchemy, whether we want it or not. So I think aligning with this energy is very powerful. Now, geologist Greg Braden also speaks about how they've discovered in the ice sheets at the poles that there's evidence that there was a galactic superwave, and that's what they called it in the Great Cross of Henday. They called it a galactic superwave of energy that impacted the Earth around 12,000 years ago. And there's clear evidence, and he talks a lot about the cycles that the Earth goes through. And one of the reasons we're experiencing such extreme weather, volcanoes, earthquakes, things like that, it's not necessarily just because of what humans have done, though humans have impacted what has been going on. But it's because of this, how we're coming into alignment with this, what's called a galactic current sheet. So I'm going to share a little bit more about that in a moment. But also, and this is the reason I felt inspired to talk about this today, is I have come across the information from a geobiologist named Rory Duff, and he's been talking about this for a long time. And basically, he's a biogeologist, but he also learned how to do dowsing because he was working for a gold mine back in the 80s. And so he became very good at it, and he uses this dowsing to track the ley lines on the Earth. And basically, so he's seeing that we are moving through the galactic current sheet. We're already in this process, and it's lowering the Earth's magnetic field. And at the same time, galactic center is extremely activated right now, like today, as we are experiencing the equinox time. So it's more active in our awareness at this time, and that our bodies and the Earth are experiencing massive waves of galactic cosmic energies. So it's like we could say, oh, there's also a heliospheric current sheet, meaning the sun has its own current sheet, and we go through that current sheet for about 2 minutes every 8 to 10 days. It's like 6,000 miles wide, so it doesn't take us that long to pass through it. But the galactic current sheet is hundreds of millions of light years long and wide, but it's only about 20 million light years thick. So that still takes us a long time to get through that galactic current sheet, and that's apparently what's happening now. And so this means that we're going to be passing through this for hundreds of years. It doesn't happen in just 2 minutes like it does, like the Earth does it that quickly. So basically, this is what's creating all the changes on the Earth. Of course, humans have added to that, so that may make it more intense and more. But viruses, climate change, whatever all those things are, we have a bigger energy that is affecting us right now. And what he found, Rory Duff found, is that the energy lines of the Earth are being affected and expanded. And he and other dowsers are actually seeing this. And he found energy lines they call the Emperor Dragon lines. And there were 6 of them that they knew about in 2012. There were 3 pairs of them. They crossed each other in only 6 places, 2 oceans, the other 4 on land, 2 in the oceans. And then 5 years later, something amazing happened. In 2017, all the Earth's energy lines suddenly doubled in width as a result of a huge increase in cosmic energy. So, we might have felt that back then, but it happened, and I've been aware that these energy lines have been expanding. And then there were 3 more that appeared more recently. I want to say 2020, but I didn't write down the exact date. Sorry, I didn't do that. Anyway, so these lines are these energy lines that just appeared more recently are probably from the center of our galaxy. The energy hitting the Earth from the center of our galaxy, activating 3 new lines that they just became aware of more recently. So this may be connected to the events around the magnetic fields, plasma and cosmic waves, and being encountered as our solar system enters this galactic current sheet. So it's affecting, as these energies hit the atmosphere of our Earth, it converts to neutrinos and passes through the Earth's solid inner core. And then it converts to ultra low vibrations that also emanate back to the surface, where it shows up in lines of high pressure that dowsers are able to register. So this is what's going on, like literally, oh my gosh, it's so amazing to get that more detailed information. And again, as I said, I've been somewhat aware of it for many years, but I haven't, it's just suddenly, it's like really present. And when these things show up, I'm like, okay, time to pay attention. So basically, that the idea is that the cosmic energy that is now coming in is designed to affect our minds and our cells in our body in an evolutionary way when we're aligned with it. How cool is that? So empathy, telepathy, clairvoyance are now being heightened for those who are attuned and aware, or wanting to be attuned and aware. So because that's helping, and it's awakening. This awakening is designed to change the consciousness of the grid of the Earth into a long-awaited golden age of love that goes beyond anything we have yet imagined. So it is the end and the beginning, we're at the end and the beginning. And so all these 29 Pisces, 30 Pisces, whatever you want to call it, 0 Aries, all this activation is just pulling our attention into the fact that there's something even bigger going on in the cosmic reality, and we have an opportunity to change it all through the power of love. So we've got the help we need.
Loving it, Kaylin. Thank you. And I'm feeling again, Neptune and Aries, the energy of that is so, yeah, just so present suddenly, obviously, I guess, because it's suddenly there today. But I just hadn't thought about, even with all of what you're describing, that that I'm again feeling how when we have more of the Neptune and Pisces energy, the qualities of being clairvoyant and, you know, all of those abilities, all of those gifts can get confusing, can get really overwhelming. But then suddenly now with the Neptune and Aries energy, it feels like maybe it really can support us to focus, like to really use it, you know, and ground it again, embody it, and not have it just be this sort of airy fairy nebulous thing. And Neptune in Pisces is incredibly beautiful and amazing too. And we will, in case anybody isn't aware, Neptune is going into Aries for a few months right now, and then it's going to go back into Pisces. So in 2020, it won't be until February 2026 when Neptune fully enters Aries, with Saturn also fully entering Aries. And we have that conjunction at 0 Aries on February 20th, which is what we're all talking about. But yeah, but for the next few months, we have this Neptune and Aries kind of trial period, I guess you could say. Not that we can opt out of it, but you know, we get to feel it as of today, and I'm really, really loving the feeling of it. So, yay. Cool. Okay, so I was gonna just really briefly help us bring this into our bodies and really feel it beyond just the words of all of it. Does that feel right for me to do now, Kaylin? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to keep
I'm gonna head
it.
out so I can prepare for my class. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
everyone. Bye.
A wonderful class, Ari. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this brief, but at least help us to ground all these beautiful things we've been hearing. Okay. Yeah, so we can get settled again in the reality that we are love itself. We are literally love in action, like Harmony was saying. It's just actually true, regardless of where Neptune is or isn't. That's just what we are. And we can feel ourselves again as Gaia, as cosmos, as the divine, as source, as love, and as light, all living as the masterpiece of the divine that is each of us uniquely, and that is the totality of us completely. And we can bring ourselves back a couple of weeks to the energy of the lunar eclipse that, in my experience, really was helping us, and the energy is still here, still helping us to really clear and let go of anything and everything no longer serving us, especially perhaps voices of doubt or self-judgment, self-criticism, any sense that we're not good enough or anything less than whole. And also helping us bring back in the many, many, many gifts of us as sacred sovereign beings, literal temples of the divine and earth as one. And then we can feel how we moved into the time of the equinox. And as Kaylin said, we're still in that energy, but we then came directly into that time of equinox, and there was this opportunity for a great influx of love. Powerful, powerful, powerful love. Soothing us and holding us. And we've also just been moving through very powerful Mars Chiron square, which I channeled about in a video the other day, which you can listen to if you like. But now we're being held in the totality of this moment as beings of Earth and cosmos and the divine, as we're moving out of the time of great forgetting. And we have love and light literally holding us as maybe we feel the pain of both the legacy of that time of great forgetting and also the current difficulty of it, the aftermath of it, the ongoing tragedies, etc. And we can feel, though, how we are held by love itself, and we still are love itself. And now we are in the time of great remembering. And we can feel how light and love know the way. They know how to soothe those pains and how to hold us and how to guide us. And we can feel now, today, as we have just had the solar eclipse in Aries yesterday, on the north node of the moon, and how Neptune now has entered Aries as of today, that we're in this energetic of newness and the reality that we are literal seeds of the divine, of pure love, of Source itself. We are what love is planting for the earth. We are what love is planting in ourselves. And we can feel whatever is true for each of us as we step into the world from this sacred time together as love embodied, love in action, love here to be literal, living love. And
Hello.
Kaylin is going to
Morning.
fully close us out before we end, but I'll just say that I would invite us all to, in the chat or in the free sharing space, name what arises for you when you feel in your own being yourself as love in action. So the summit is about us being super conductors of love. That's one component of being love in action. What else is here? Because the love that is you, that is each of us, knows exactly what is ours to do in each and every moment, what it means for each of us to be. love embodied and love in action, and the seed of love embodied as earth and cosmos and the divine as one. And let's celebrate that, and let's celebrate each other. And so it is. Amen. And Kaylin, close us out.
Right. So as we're reaching completion and we're celebrating, this sacred ceremonial space has been so powerful, and hopefully it has helped all of you who've been a part of this through this time. And so here we are recognizing and honoring the magic, really the high magic of our time together as we complete in this moment, knowing the wholeness created here will continue to grow into whatever is next, guided by the power and the magic of love. So we invite you all to join us in feeling deep gratitude for all the energies, insights, ahas, moments of illumination that are carrying us forward beyond this powerful portal, recognizing that our coming together in ceremonial celebration of this time has been transformative beyond what we may yet know. And with gratitude for the sacred space that has been blessing and inspiring all of those who are viewing and or reviewing any of this content and are continuing to benefit from all the love and wisdom that has been shared by our wondrous presenters, those who have commented or will comment on the presentations, and those who have simply been loving witness to this miraculous time. Thank you. And thank you to all the directions, all the elements, all the seasonal signs, all the stars and constellations, all the galactic energies flowing to us from the great above and activating us here in the great below. Thank you for all the ways you are guiding, supporting, and inspiring us in all our now moments. Thank you for being here in this gorgeous sacred space. And thank you for all the ways you are continuing to guide us as we move into whatever is next. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the ways we are blessed with the magical experience of this life, including the moon phases, eclipses, all the times of each day, each moment, each seasonal point, each year as we co-create a more loving world. And thank you for the ways we are inspired by the alchemy of this timeline, guided by the planetary initiation cycles, personally and collectively, that are happening for us in ways we may not fully understand, but we are remembering to trust the process, to radically trust the process, and to surrender to what is dissolving so we are making space for what is evolving. Thank you for continuing to inspire us and expanding into our role as superconductors of love, as we remember that love is a powerful, high vibrational energy that literally changes the atomic and subatomic structure of our world into a more loving, playful, joyful experience. Thank you for continuing to guide us in rebirthing ourselves into the wholeness of who we truly are as superconductors of love, including the superconductive power of joyful bliss, of magic and miracles, of courage, kindness, and compassion, of beauty, acceptance, and pleasure. Thank you for inspiring us to remember to act on the power of love, knowing that as we change what is within us, we change what is around us with the intent that that change brings us into peaceful, joyous, kind, accepting world filled with the wisdom and inspiration that supports us in fully expressing who we truly are. Thank you for all the ways you are helping us to remember we are the magic of love. We are living more fully aware in the magic of love. We are living in the magic of beauty and the magic of peace and plenty and the magic of sacred pleasure. Thank you for all the love, guidance, support, and protection within and around each and every one of us in every moment of every day, knowing that the most powerful way to express our true selves is through the superconductive power of love. Love changes everything. Love heals everything. Love is the answer to most of our questions. Love is what created this reality, and love is what is changing everything within and around us. Thank you for all the ways we are being reminded we are not alone. We are loved and supported. We are being guided when we ask for guidance. We are protected when we ask for protection. The universal forces are celebrating us with enthusiasm and excitement. We're making a massive difference by showing up with our presence anchored in the magic of love, through our willingness to show up and be the love the world is ready for at this time. It is done, it is so, and so it already is. Blessed be. And I do want to share the Hopi prophecy. I don't know if I should do that now or give it a minute, or what do you think?
Go for it.
Go for it. Okay, I was at another summit like at the end of January, early February, and I shared this, and it just feels like it's so timely. Again, even though this prophecy was shared back in the year 2000, 25 years ago. Whew. So this is from the Hopi elders, and I feel like it's really important for just reminding ourselves of this time. So here's the prophecy. You have been telling people this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people this is the hour, and there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relationship? Where's your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for your leader. So important. And this could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Incredible. Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to just take us out of Spotlight so we can see everyone. And so we can say, there we go. Amazing. I have to scroll a lot on my screen to see everybody, but beautiful. Thank you all so much for being part of the summit. Thank you for being here live, if you're watching live, if you're here on Zoom live, and please continue to enjoy the whole summit. Enjoy all of it for free, because it's there forever for you. So it's not going away. And yeah, just thank you.
And it's so designed to help us through this time, to really encourage us, inspire us, and activate possibilities. So
Yes. And I have this in my mind, so I'll just say it, even though we haven't officially planned any, but we do have possibilities percolating. So of future things we can do, I think maybe especially with that February 20th, 2026, something. I don't know. We'll see what happens then, but
stay tuned.
And I just want to say thank you to Martha and Kaylin for holding this space, because it's a lot of work and energy to hold a space like this. And it's, it's amazing to join, and I get to just fly in and pop in, but they're really holding the whole space for everyone. And so I just want to say thank you to both of you, because I felt that this time is really important. And I felt that this summit and what you guys were doing and what you're evoking is very important. And thank you for being the bearers of it. And thank you for calling us all in to join you. So
Thank you, Harmony.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yay. Well, I know we'll all be together again. No doubt.
Yes.
Yay. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Goodbye.